Hi, it's Kevin Bates here. The other day I was reading a very interesting article by Nick Szabo on the origins of money, and in particular, he was looking at some of the stuff that's going on inside a human brain and probably has been for hundreds of thousands of years. Well, not hundreds, up to 200,000 years, because that's the time that our particular species has been around. But there's one thing that really struck me, which is that we believe that we have some structures in our brains that allow us to cope with language, and that most of the animals out there don't have those structures, and it's language that gave us a big advantage in terms of being able to communicate knowledge from one generation to the next. And I was wondering, do we have similar structures in the brain that allow us to cope with the concept of storing value and passing on value? Because it looks like in Europe, when Homo sapiens and Homo neanderthalis were living at the same time, that the Neanderthals probably didn't have this kind of store of value brain space that our species did, and that may actually be one of the things that contributed to them dying out and us surviving. I don't know whether Neanderthals had a language, but from what I read, it seems that prehistoric human beings did store things like necklaces and artifacts that were kept purely because human beings seemed to value them, and that Neanderthals didn't have that same desire. So very, very interesting article. I'll see if I can dig it up and link to it in this video post. And then there was also a whole section on different forms of ancient currency and different forms of sort of precursors to currency. For example, wampus shells, which sounds like a wonderful name, in the Native American tribes back before the Europeans came across, and how the Europeans dealt with that, and how actually they found it useful because they didn't have enough currency from their home countries to have a functioning economy. So that's worth a read too. Anyway, just a quick video on currency and its history, and this article by Nick Szabo, well worth a read. See you in the next video soon. Bye for now.